IVM.
Welcome to Absolutely Right. I'm your host Aditi Surana. I read this quote somewhere. When you doubt your power, you give power to your doubt. Isn't it true? Self-esteem, or what we generally call self-confidence, is made up of two things: your belief in yourself and your belief in your skill sets. Many motivational speeches tell you to believe in yourself, not to think negative, do not give in to your doubts. But it is easier said than done. And changing only surface level thoughts do not change the actual problem. Today in this short episode, let's talk about what is self-doubt. What exactly do you tell yourself when you have unhealthy self-doubt? What part of your handwriting talks about it? And finally, 5 truly effective ways of dealing with it. If you're new here, let me fill you in. Absolutely Right Friday episodes are designed to create an actionable change. With every episode, we create a worksheet, or as we call it, Friday Fun Sheet, for you to commit to growth and take actions. This is a PDF document that you can download from my website, aditisurana.com/podcast. We all need some amount of doubt to grow. It is healthy to know that we are not always right. With some amount of doubt, we have humility and can relate better to others. Self-doubt becomes a problem when you stand in your own way. You believe that you will never achieve the goals that you have in mind, or you don't have the talent required for it, or you are not even worthy of your position or your partner. The most important conversation is the one you have with yourself. When you speak with yourself in the mirror, do you use one of these following terms? I can't, I didn't, I shouldn't, I'm terrible. Do you? I can't is the self-fulfilling prophecy. If we are convinced that we can't, then we don't even try it. I didn't is self-sabotaging. It emerges from a fear of failure, reminding you all the ways in which you failed in the past. I shouldn't is the imposter syndrome. It is that unreasonable feeling of being a fraud in disguise, with your achievements gotten through luck rather than your personal ability or effort. And you feel it is only a matter of time until people around you discover this. I'm terrible is lack of self-kindness. When you help your friend, you're really kind and supportive. But when it comes to yourself, people tend to become really, really harsh. Now let's look at which part of your handwriting talks about self-doubt. Take a moment to pull out your notebook, diary, or any notepad where you have already written something, or if that is not handy, write 8 to 10 lines about whatever comes to your mind. The content doesn't matter. Now look at lowercase letter t. T for tango. In my graphology classes, I always refer to the letter T as the Almighty, because we have 52 ways in which we write this letter. And it talks about one of the most important aspects of how do we look at ourselves. So find a lowercase t. As you will observe closely, you will find 2 parts to this letter, a vertical line and a horizontal line. Now only focus on the vertical line. Divide it in 2 halves, the top half and the bottom half. Now listen carefully, okay? If the horizontal line is placed in the second half, in the bottom half of your letter T, then that is a sign of self-doubt. If this explanation was slightly confusing for you, then don't worry. Just check out the diagram of the stroke in our fun sheet today. You can download it from aditisurana.com/podcast. Now you may say, but Aditi, I have multiple styles of writing letter T. I agree. Most of us do. Pick any 5 of them randomly and find an average. When I ask you to look at your own handwriting, this is not a perfect analysis, but at least it is the beginning for you to understand deeper aspects of your personality. Remember, graphology is not a conclusive but an exploratory tool. If you see the stroke of self-doubt in your handwriting, then please do not panic. Let's explore this point further, and I'm going to talk about 5 ways of dealing with it anyways. Now let's look at what helps and what does not. Let me begin with what doesn't help. I'm going to say something that you may not agree with at this point in time. However, my job as your high performance coach is to give you the tools that would genuinely help you. and not the ones that will just make you feel better in the moment and won't show any results. I am committed to that. So here it is. As our self-esteem is built on two factors, first, our belief in ourselves, and second, our belief in our ability or skill set. And that is the reason why things like positive self-talk, affirmations, visualizations do not get us too far. They don't get to the root cause of the issue. For example, if you walk into a room that is stinking, a bit of air freshener won't solve the problem. It sounds like a lot of work, but you will have to find the source of the foul smell and throw it out to actually solve the problem. And the same thing is applicable when it comes to dealing with self-doubt. Also, changing your letter T won't help. Letter T is only one of the 5 indicators of understanding self-esteem. Grapha Therapy is an effective tool and I have seen great results with it in my practice. But using it in a haphazard manner won't help. It will only create self-delusion without actually solving the real problem. So let's look at 5 effective ways in which you can overcome self-doubt. First one, journal. I can't talk about it enough, but writing is a powerful tool to cultivate self-awareness. It forces you to pin down your internal journey. Take out 15 to 20 minutes to journal every day. You're the only person who knows how your self-doubt functions, and thereby you're the most important player in changing it too. Ask any one of these questions and write whatever comes to your mind. Do not edit, do not try to be correct, just write. Question number 1. Do you believe that you don't deserve what you achieved? Why not? Question number 2. Do you believe that you shouldn't be aiming higher at all? Why? Question number 3. What would happen if you fail? As you write, observe all your limiting beliefs and how they affect your conversation with yourself. Point number 2. Feel. There is a deep correlation between our minds and our bodies. Another powerful way of dealing with our limitations is to feel them in our bodies. Whenever you catch yourself giving into your self-doubt pattern, pause. Ask, where in my body do I feel it? Belly? Chest? Back? Focus entirely on that feeling and not on your thoughts. What does it feel like? Is it a heaviness? Contraction? Discomfort? Wait, do not try to change it. Just observe. Does it come and go? Does it move anywhere? For example, I feel the tension in my neck and my upper back. This sensation can be a guiding tool. If you observe for a few days, you will notice the sensation comes much before you're trapped into your downward spiral. The other day I was going about my regular day. Nothing looked different. Suddenly I felt this stiffness in my neck and my upper body. I wondered if something was bothering me. Nothing was obvious. I took a break and asked myself a few questions. I asked if there's something really getting to me, and sure it was. I wasn't sure if I would do a good job of the collaboration video that I had agreed to make. I caught myself halfway through the spiral. Point number 3. What if versus if what questions. Most people give in to self-doubt by thinking about what ifs. What if I can't do it? What if I fail? What if this happens? What if that happens? I'm a big fan of solution-provoking questions. Even if, or I would say, especially when you do not have any answers to your problems, ask questions with if what. If I accept this challenge, what will change? If I can change this situation, what will I choose? If I choose this collaboration project, what will I learn? Point number 4. Take small actions. The only way out of this disabling pattern is to move forward, even if that means you inch forward at a time. Focus entirely on doing the task. Thinking about it, worrying about it, imagining it is not doing the task. Taking actions is moving forward. I remember a time when I felt completely defeated by these unending challenges of building a career as a graphologist. I thought of quitting many times. And in one of those doubtful phases, I asked this question to one of my coaching facilitators. He said, "It is undoubtedly tough. but show up every day. Take some action. Small action, that's fine. But take action every day. And I followed through. I must say that it has genuinely worked for me. Point number 5, Grapha Therapy. Self-doubt lies either in the past as memories or in the future as imaginary projections. Once it becomes a deep-rooted pattern, we keep choosing it unknowingly. It feels as if we do not have a choice and we automatically follow this disempowering path. But that is not true. It happens because of the neuro pathways that get created with our repetitive thinking. Handwriting is 90 to 95% accurate because it is a snapshot of these neuro pathways. I have seen tremendous amount of results when people use Grapha Therapy to deal with self-doubt. At times I wonder myself how these small changes in writing can create the kind of shift they do. But I have come to trust them because they haven't failed me after trying them with so many people over the years. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Absolutely Right. I'm keen to know what were your takeaways from today's conversation. What small action will you be taking today that will improve something in your life? Do share your experience and send your questions to me on my Instagram handle at Aditi Surana. Next week, we will be completing 40 episodes of the Absolutely Right podcast. And this wouldn't have been possible without all of you guys. So we thought having you guys as our guest on the show. So send me your handwriting sample with your questions in writing or even better as your voice note. You can submit it on the website aditisurana.com/podcast. I can't wait for that conversation. It would be absolutely great to have you as my guest. If you like this podcast, then don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on IVM Network. You can listen to us on IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Let's connect on Wednesday. Till then, happy writing!
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money and Intel. It's been a really, really cool week on the network. We've had Ashwin Sanghi on Cyrus Says. We had Masaba Gupta on Advertising is Dead. You should definitely check out Vivek Lath, who showed up on Storytellers and Story Sellers. A close friend and partner of ours, Karthik Parija, was on the Pragati podcast talking about the future of podcasting, which I think is really, really interesting. And I would like to ask people to check out All Things Policy and what they've been doing. They've been having some really interesting discussions about India's challenging relationship with China as we go forward, and I think that would be a great thing for you guys to check out. So with that, we hope to see you again next week.
Hi guys, this is Ayushi.
And I am Ritasha.
And welcome to Agla Station Adulthood.
It's a fun podcast we've got going on, and we'd love for you to tune in and enjoy with us.
Join us as we stop at various stations and discuss different topics that seem to be bothering us and hopefully
Dating,
you as well.
relationships, beauty, just being an adult, lots of different things.
We don't have a great grip on it, but we've done okay so far.
Catch Agla Station Adulthood every Thursday on the IVM app, the IVM website, or wherever else you get your podcasts.